you.
I did not have an opportunity to grab my bag, which is in my car, and all my documentation. Do I need to submit that tonight, or?
We can,
Because, well, maybe we can pause, and you can go print this. He didn't have access.
What? I don't know what you're grabbing. You're grabbing the contract.
I'm confused.
I'm confused too.
Oh, please don't be. Are you in public session?
We are in
Yes.
public session.
And we are
recording.
being recorded?
Yes.
Correct.
Great. So my name is Kim Fortune. I'm from Webster. Although I'm not on the agenda tonight, I am here to speak to two different issues. First and foremost, I'd like to speak in regards to our assessment and the validity and factual part of our assessments that is happening townwide through all 1,800 landowners,
Yeah.
approximately. My cause for concern is, as I spoke with the assessors on November 14th of 2023, it would seem as if they were unaware of the fact that there is an actual lien in fee simple on any and all land and water rights in the town of Webster as a municipality. Subsequently, my concern is, how does that affect each and every landowner in this town in regards to value of their property? Because if in fact, from my understanding, excuse me, there is a lien on the land and water rights, you don't have, as a property owner, any value. Subsequently, any assessor, in good conscience, would be looking at that as a zero-base evaluation.
So with the stuff, the research that we did when you brought it to our attention,
Yeah.
I thought that we had clarified and worked through that
Right, it's
situation.
an 1871 law.
19, just clarify for me. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
hear what you-
1971?
No, I said 1871.
Oh, I'm sorry, 1871.
Anyway, there was that law,
Mm-hmm.
and as far as we know, it's still on the books today. Although there is a law 38-2 now that gives any town the right to go into another community and purchase land for water rights. And I think that, to think that a town would come in and not have to pay for water rights is not what the intent of that law was. And values, and I just might add this, depending on what you think the value is, obviously it would affect the rate. So the lowest value, because you still need to raise the same amount of money.
Right.
So, you know.
But do you have just a quick question, if I may ask?
Sure.
Do you have the value to raise that money? You don't own that collateral.
Well, a lot of
You
people have
don't
liens on their
own those
property.
rights to raise that,
you know.
okay? So in saying that, just for example, we know that there are a lot of situations throughout our country that there are private interests that do in fact come in, own property, and subsequently take water as a commercial industry and subsequently set up and produce that. A perfect example in our state at this point in time, of which there is a 3,500% profit on water, from my understanding, is in Molten Borough, New Hampshire. And that is through the Geyser Water Company.
Do you think that I would have to say to that, and there again, I mean, I'm not legally, educated as you may have done, but that would be a lot of permitting. That would be, you'd have to get, right? You'd have to
The
get
permit-
permits to even be able to do it. And there would have to be certain boards that would either approve it or not.
You don't own those rights. Webster, as a municipality, unfortunately,
But
has
you're,
already been superseded
yeah,
in
but
1871.
I don't
by
agree with that,
Congress.
Kim, because that would be like saying to town that you don't own your land and I can tell you whatever to do with whatever. You know what I
Thank you
mean?
very much for recognizing that, Marlo, because that's exactly what happened and is continuing to happen here, unfortunately. So unbeknownst to the land owners and the water rights owners here, that is exactly what has happened. So recognizing the definition of fee simple. Now, excuse me just one moment. Could you please pull up on that computer, what is the definition of fee simple? Whereas the legislation is defined intact, still enacted to this day, is a fee simple held rights. What is the definition of fee simple, please?
The landowner's complete and total ownership of a piece of land and all properties on it.
That means that Concord owns every single, correct me if I'm wrong,
I'm not, Kim, I don't think any of us could sit here and it's kind of, to me, it's kind of a play on words in the sense that, this town's been run this way since what you said, in the 1800s. There's no, it's kind of like squatter rights in my mind. There's rules and regulations for that. If somebody squats on their property, it could become their property. But you brought to our attention, we've had meetings, we've talked to representatives that, that we would like that to be taken care of. And, I can't quite, I thought that we got things rocketing,
They were
rolling.
going for a while, but
Yeah.
then she.
So we may
going
need to
further.
pick back up, but there's also in a situation where I feel like it's kind of a reach, a beyond, they would have to really work hard to prove that all of our land, including, the 70 acres that I own in this town.
every single 1,800
Right,
people.
right.
The way this is written,
But
this
I
is a
guess
state
I
law
guess-
and the general laws. Let me just tell you one thing, okay? Unfortunately, at this point in time, in 1871, that was the point in time when all of your general laws, in accordance to constitutional and common law, were being revised, and by a small, from my research, 5 people did all of the investigation and the submission of what their opinion was for coming forward to all of a sudden changing to corporate law and municipal law under the quasi corporate constitution in 1869. That was brought forward and began RSAs, which RSAs, and I understand exactly what you're saying. You're saying for numerous years we've operated this way. Absolutely, you have. You absolutely have. Under admiralty law and maritime law versus common law, which is how this started up. So in 1871, recognizing at the federal level that that's when the Organic Act was put in place. It is since that point in time that unfortunately Webster has not had their land and water rights in a lawful manner. Taking that one step forward, the reason that I'm here tonight is to bring to the attention of all of us, because we are all in this together, okay? As landowners, as people of this town, of people that love this town, of representatives of this town, as a governing body, not a legislative body. I'm a legislative body, you're a governing body, okay? As my elected official. But what I am here to say is we have no value because unfortunately, in accordance to law, they hold our rights and our value. So as we look, from my understanding on the agenda tonight, it was a budget issue, right? We were looking at budgets. We were asking people to submit their budgets. We were asking entities to submit their budgets in going forward so that that can be further brought before the townspeople so that we too can submit and participate in the state of New Hampshire. In saying that, that is all wonderful if we have the collateral to actually bond that. We do not.
Yeah.
We do not own any collateral to raise any bond.
Well, that's,
So the
Where you sit.
assessor, of which I had a conversation with, on November 14th, at that point in time when they were doing their review, which, just so that I go ahead and let you know, was outside of their contractual agreement, they failed. Collateral is your land, correct? From my understanding,
yeah.
this
Which a lot of people have
town's-
collateral and their lands are owned by the bank, so.
no bank in their right mind would take any mortgage or give any resident a mortgage on any property if in fact it was known to them that they had a lien on it, that they did not own it in full.
Well,
This is what I have been trying to say to you for 14 years.
I'm not quite sure
Not
what
you, but
I'm
four
still-
other boards.
Yeah, but I don't know what more, I feel like
What do
we've
they
done what we
say?
need to do.
They ask you, do you own this? They do a title search. When I did my title
Yeah, and on
search,
the title search, is there a lien?
absolutely,
With the.
absolutely. When I did my title search, and when I got title insurance, that was all insured until 2007 and 2008.
I guess I'm not sure where this goes.
Well, I
We're
think
looking at
maybe
assessors,
something
and we're
you
also
could
looking
do-
at appraisers, and we're also looking at
wanted to do-
auditors. Do you realize, and I would like to just state this on the record, because this is huge, and it has been. I apologize that my bag is in the car, whereas I was registering a vehicle tonight. I have the town record from 1976. When this town, in the records, in the minutes, voted to not go in accordance to government accounting practices. So as we hire a auditor for, I can only assume, excuse me, that it's $40,000 that we ask our auditor to come in and assess our records. If that is actually looked at, the definition of what that contract is looked at, all they're doing is looking at numbers that are submitted to them, not in accordance to government accounting practices.
So.
That is
have we-
your job, to ask them to be in compliance. They're not. So we're paying them $40,000 to $60,000.
I don't know, what is?
For the audit?
Yeah.
15.
15,000.
15,000.
Without,
But that's not
without
even-
looking at any of our numbers, other than a piece of paper handed to them.
We
That
hand
is
them
true.
what is what, where they're auditing, we
It
hand
has
them what they're
been
asking.
year after year from
Yeah.
1979
Kim, I'll tell you what, not.
until today. And you can look at it verbatim in all of the minutes.
And
When
we're,
you stand here to me in March, and all these town people, in March, and you say, we want to approve the auditor's bill and accept that because it's in an article, warrant article, you're saying, it's okay. They haven't looked underneath the sheets. They're only accepting what is handed to them. And we pay them $40,000 to $60,000.
15,000, if you didn't hear that.
Oh.
for a second.
I'm
But
sorry.
I don't even,
What's
I
our
don't,
assessor?
but that's not, to me, that's not the point to the matter. It is, I mean, I'm glad we only pay 15, but we're doing what
They
we're
ought to be
following
ashamed
the
of
rules.
themselves. Coming in here and asking us for $15,000 for a piece of paper.
What's
For
more than
something
piece
they
of
never
paper?
look at any numbers.
What, have you sat through an audit here?
There is no audit! Look at the criteria.
Kim.
Okay,
Kim,
all right,
no
so
doubt.
I'll tell you what. We've heard you out. We have moved on it. We can follow back up on the situation of the whole Waters Act. I firmly believe that.
Land rights.
Land rights.
So how do you raise bonds when you have no collateral? I guess that's my question
Well, I
to you
would
as a
think a
governing
bank
body.
wasn't gonna give us money if they looked back and they figured we didn't have any collateral.
Did you disclose it to them? I've been coming here for 14 years.
What bond?
Well, we don't have.
Any
one
bond.
We
right
don't
now.
now, we don't
Yeah,
have
we
one.
don't.
We're raising
We have
bonds
one.
for everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't have any presently.
right.
No, we had a bond to do the safety building. I think that's what we did.
Yeah.
So
And I
as
still think
I show
also
up to
there's-
town meeting in March, and everyone asks to raise money,
Yeah.
what is that going to be collateralized by?
The taxes. That's taxpayer money. It's not bonded.
Why would anyone pay their taxes if they have a value of 0?
Well,
I still
I-
think that history, just like in any law case,
Mm-hmm.
and granted, I mean, we should still look into it.
We
more.
are
I
not
know-
the only town, Marlo.
Hold on, Kim. I use the example of squatter rights, but it's not the best. I'm trying to think how to explain where the percentage that this would ever come to fruition with the way things have been happening and been done since your date of 1871.
That's not my date, that's
Okay,
factual.
the date.
That is in the
Okay,
general
Kim,
law
the
of New
date,
Hampshire.
the date. And all of a sudden, for that to be overturned and said that they get to have more or less their squatter rights back, I don't ever see that coming to fruition. And what does the town want to expel for monies to try to, even though we've tried to talk to somebody in regards to getting it changed, and people look at us like we're crazy.
Of course not, they own your collateral. Why would they? Of course they're gonna dismiss you.
But
Now,
there
let
again,
me just
Kim, but there
clarify.
again, Kim,
Let me
over
just
the years,
clarify.
all of a sudden, you can't just, a judge or whoever would look at it and say, this was something that happened way back then. I highly doubt, because of the way it's been going along this whole time, again, it's, the routine in law, right, in a sense, that they would be able to overturn it and take all our property.
Okay, so I just wanna clarify to you as to historically what's happened. Recognizing in 1871, this was put into a general law in the state of New Hampshire, including Bosquen and Webster. I can only assume because of the aquifer located in our location. In saying that, let me just clarify and substantiate what happened in the general laws in 1874. 71 versus 74. Bosquen said, whoa, whoa, whoa! We aren't letting this happen in our town, and they repealed it through the state legislature. They got their land and water rights back. We did not.
As far as you can tell,
No, as far as documented.
because you've gone.
That
back
is
to-
absolutely, I have the original
Okay,
session.
so I
I
tell you
have the
what,
original session books,
You might
Marlo.
invite the representative to come in.
yeah, why don't we?
Because
We can go on and on,
Legislature.
but we need to get this rectified. You can't continue to tell these people they have collateral in their land when they don't.
But I think it would be good to have the representatives come in, because they
And
did do
banks!
some work. Please
Bring
let
in
me
banks!
speak, Kim.
Bring in banks.
Bring in banks?
Yeah, no bank in their right mind, knowing that this lien was on any land, would loan to anyone as a potential property buyer.
Is it a
They
lien?
would not put that risk out there.
Is it a lien?
It's held in fee simple. Look at the ordinance. I have been here for 14 years trying to disclose this and tell you people to not, I apologize.
Well, I
You're
think-
just
I
the
think we
last
have-
board and the most recent board
Well, and I
that
think
I have
we've,
spoken to.
and I do think we have not ignored your request, nor would we want to if we
Then
felt.
stop billing me until it's rectified. And every other
Yeah.
1,800
Well,
people
The
here.
good news about that is, we don't really have a say. The state tells us, A, when to assess. The state is, we pay to get the assessment, and then we, by of the laws of the state, have to do what we're doing.
I
So-
understand.
So it's not like we can just say, oh, but we're not gonna bill, because Kim brought to the attention of this law that, yeah, I know you feel like there's teeth. I think it's not a bad thing to keep looking into it. But my highly doubt,
Jess?
we've, I think we've spoke to our attorney in regards to it. So there's a certain amount of money that you want to expel, because they're not gonna be happy with us expelling money over something that would never hold up in the court of law. But with
Let me just
that being
clarify-
said, I'm not a lawyer, you're not a lawyer.
We're not.
We just wanna do what's best. I get where your concern is. I'm not saying that it's a concern you shouldn't have, but I feel like we have gone in the right steps. We also are here to run a town, just like you like your roads being plowed, we like, everything that we do to have to spend money, the taxes paid for. So, any way you look at it, I really highly doubt that would become an issue where, that would even hold up in the court of law. But with that being said, I think we can ask a representative to come, and we're gonna work again, because I know we work towards trying to say, hey, we're concerned about this. And we kind of just got the old,
Well, I think we should talk to her again,
yeah.
because I
Yeah.
think they started off good, so we'll see what happens.
Who's the rep?
So I want to thank you very much for listening, but I do want to ask you one question to both of you.
Oh, gosh.
Recognizing that I have brought this for 14 years now in front of the boards, the governing boards of my town as a legislative body. Have you read the ordinance?
No, I have not.
Okay. Unfortunately, I understand and I am so on board with everything that you said, Marlo, particularly right here. And unfortunately, you haven't read this ordinance. Because if in fact you had, you would recognize that the remedy is in the ordinance. Whereas the only remedy is for the selectmen to file suit on my behalf and the other 1,800 people's here as to the damages done in the Merrimack County Superior Court. And that is in the ordinance. So shame on who
Well,
for not getting informed. So I will continue to come back here.
Well,
There
and
is a state law, we
Relax.
still have no value. Why am I being taxed?
Okay, thank you, and I would say that's,
I would
Far
say
enough.
you need to read the ordinance.
even if I read the ordinance, Kim, to the fullest, and we've gone over it, actually,
You haven't read it.
it's still.
The remedy is in there. It says you need, as a selectman,
To
you
sue,
n-
you just said,
for damages. And
Damages.
the prior board asked me, when I brought this to their attention, they said, Kim, what do you want us to do? I said, well, let's start with a $162 million lawsuit.
and then that, let's say.
They didn't know what to do.
No, but
Because they too had not read the state law.
Kim, you know as well as I do, a lawsuit, anybody can sue anybody for anything, okay?
You're not acting on my behalf.
File your
I'm
own
not
lawsuit.
being rude. That's
But,
not
all right,
in the ordinance.
enough. Thank you for your time. We will look into getting representatives, and, we'll go from there. But there again, when you sue people, that costs money too, so.
Unless, if you read the ordinance, it's not on you. This is a municipal association, remember? Now, flash forward beyond 1871, of which we did not have a municipal authority, because we weren't under that kind of law. We were under common law.
Like I said, we will look into it again. I know that
Thank
we
you
were looking.
so much. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate you listening to me. And this is all on record, right? Thank you. Thank you, Marlo.
Yeah.
I'm just saying fact-based.
That's fine.
I don't come here without doing my homework. But these are crucial issues where you're asking me to be assessed, and they cannot assess me under the municipal law or administrative law as stated through the RSAs. The assessment company, if they put their signature to that, is a very, very risky deal.
Well, I'll also
Because
mention
they
one
are
other thing,
knowingly-
Ken. If you feel the value's wrong, you can always file for an abatement.
Oh, I understand abatement. I also understand tax appeal. I have also been fully well informed about the whole administrative thing. And actually, my executive council representative, recognizing that we have a $22 million asset here in the town of Webster, and that subsequently is the reason that I reached out to an executive council member, recognizing that anything over $50,000 income or distribution is to go through the wonderful constitutional executive council in the state of New Hampshire, which is in regards to checks and balances. They said that I probably need to go to the chief executive officer, which subsequently is my governor, Sununu, who operates this whole corporation, to look at the whole thing, whereas he is in command.
Send it. Go see
Thank
him.
you. Thank you.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
Take it, right to him.
That's how they advise me, and these are all elected public officials.
Perfect. Go ahead, see what he says. Thank you. All right, so. thanks
Will
for
I be
coming.
getting a tax bill
Yes,
while this is pending?
yes.
Okay. Will you be acting upon this?
We said what we were gonna do.
So you will be reading the ordinance? I'm gonna reiterate that once.
I can, I'll read the ordinance, but I'm gonna look to our attorney in the town, because I can read ordinances, you can read the law, you can interpret like the law, you can interpret the law in different ways.
Yeah.
My
And that's the way I look
question
at it.
is, prior to going to council,
Okay, I'm
Will
done, I'm not
you read
answering
it?
anymore.
will you two read it?
Thank you, Kim, thanks for coming in. Okay,
Oh,
So
anything
you're not
else?
gonna answer that question?
Yeah,
You're not gonna answer as to whether you're gonna read this ordinance?
first of all, I guess next time we allow some public comment,
Sure.
it needs to be fully exposed to what they're gonna be looking for us to answer. Because
I'm
I feel like
fine,
you're
I'm fine,
being,
Marlo.
I feel like you're being
I just wanna ask you to
unreasonable.
read the ordinance.
Fine, I'll read the
It's
ordinance,
huge.
but.
It's huge.
But
You're in the
I'm not
complete-
going to.
You're my neighbor.
All right,
See, you're my neighbor.
I'm engaging.
But I was gonna say, I can read the ordinance, I
Thank
probably
you.
can't understand it, but that's, it's all in
That-
legalese, and I'm not a legalese anybody.
That's what I'm trying to say, but. You should have been a lawyer. How come you missed that calling?
Yeah.
I don't need to be a lawyer.
No?
Because I'm not gonna be bar associated. Thank you. Am I going down? Do I dare sign in
Yeah, go ahead.
as attending?
You can.
Thank you. For the record,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
thank you.
Okay, so I guess I don't have anything further.
No?
Would we like to adjourn the meeting?
Yes, I say we adjourn the
7:57.
meeting at 7:57.
Sooner than later.
Okay. Great.
I'm gonna go turn the video off. Or you,
Oh,
Dana, I can
Yes,
grab
you
it.
will you get it?
grab it,
Okay,
we can all
that would be
get it.
nice.
You don't wanna
We
get
can walk
the
up there
microphone?
holding hands, come on, bring it up, Sap.
Shoot myself.